spaceship counting stars since '94, waiting for someone to come and knock on my door. Looking for someone who'd be the Venus to my Mars. Why does love always have to be this hard? Got me feeling like
Test. Test.
stuff. So you're gonna turn it on. You'll turn it on, right? Okay, it's not live, right? But it's not. Okay.
All right, everybody. How's everyone doing tonight? Welcome to our first ever Space Accelerator Launch Day. My name is Nathan Burkhardt. I'm the Vice President of Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation. And we have a really great show lined up for you today. We have 7 companies that have undergone over 8 weeks of programming with the Space Foundation out of Colorado. A quick show of hands, whose first time is it here at the eBridge Center in this building? Okay, wow, good amount. So this center has only been open for about 2.5 years, but it's the pinnacle of this ecosystem of entrepreneurship that we're trying to develop, not just in Brownsville, but the entire Rio Grande Valley. We really want to create more opportunities to prevent brain drain. We really want to create more local jobs, and we want a robust economy, and we know that the only way to do that is by investing in our own locally. And we all know that there's this enormous, really great, big space company about 30 minutes east of us. But we wanted to make sure that we could create opportunities for those looking to create local space-adjacent companies here in Brownsville, as well as those looking to relocate and potentially expand here in Brownsville, as well as in Cameron County. So I want to go over some house rules that we'll be doing tonight. Please silence your cell phones. As I had mentioned, these companies have spent 8 weeks prepping and going through this accelerator program. No flash photography. Take as many photos as you'd like, though. Please try to talk as little as possible during these presentations. No heckling or distractions. No questions from the audience, but I guarantee you'll have a chance to speak to all 7 companies that are pitching tonight while the judge is in deliberation. Every single individual will have 10 minutes to participate. That includes the Q&A portion as well with our judges. And at the very end, we'll actually have a community voting tally at the very end so that you all get to pick who you think was the best presenter this evening. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our judges. And I'm not a guy who likes to take up notes, but their pedigrees are good enough that I had to print this out. Our first judge is Ramiro Hollmann. Ramiro, if you can stand up. Ramiro is the first Economic Development Director for Cameron County. He brings extensive experience in the field of economic development by serving as CEO of San Benito Economic Development Corporation, where he led efforts in retail and small business development. He was also the Director of Business Recruitment and Expansion at the Greater Brownsville Incentives Corporation, and he led industrial business development as manager at the Harlingen Economic Development Corporation. Ramiro spearheaded endeavors in every aspect of economic development to include business recruitment, expansion, international marketing, public relations, and has worked with companies like SpaceX, Greyhound, Seatrium, Amphels, Next Decade, just to name a few. Ramiro earned a BBA in Management and International Business from UT San Antonio and has an associate degree in Computer Science Technology from TSTC in Harlingen. Thank you, Ramiro. And another really big thanks to Cameron County. They were actually the ones to introduce us to the Space Foundation that started the talks to create this accelerator program we now have. So thank you very much, Ramiro. Our next judge is Veronica Davila. Veronica holds a degree in Computer Systems and Engineering and an MBA from Monterey Tech, with additional studies in control systems at Université Technologique de Compiègne. Close enough, it's French. She began her career at General Electric Aviation, where she worked as an engineer and technical leader in control, software, and maintenance systems, participating in international technical reviews as part of the engineering process. Transitioning to education, Veronica has served as a STEM educator and middle school principal dedicated to strengthening academic programs and inspiring passion for science and technology. Through Create Tech education, she continues to prioritize hands-on STEM learning and collaboration with local schools and organizations to empower the next generation of innovators. Thank you, Veronica. And no stranger to the eBridge Center, we have a David Ortiz, TMAC Regional Director for UTRGV. With over 15 years of industry and academic experience in operational excellence, workforce development, engineering management, and grant administration, David has provided training and consulting to over 50 companies here in the South Texas region. David has also developed training plans and operational excellence initiatives for different industries in the manufacturing sector as well. As TMAC Director, his role includes a team of experienced engineers and staff, growing local industry and government partnerships, managing grants, improving operations for regional, small, and medium-sized manufacturing companies, and implementing federally funded projects. That was a mouthload, but when I say that TMAC has done amazing things here in the community, you can just go and look and ask the nonprofit Dream Come Build, who were creating homes that took 3 months to build, that with David and his team were able to shorten to almost 3 weeks. So they're an amazing organization to work for. If anyone needs assistance in the manufacturing sector, David and his team are your people. Thank you, David. So I'm going to bring up a few of my team members here who are actually going to be doing a bulk of the introductions for this evening of our companies. And the first will be the Director of Marketing for the Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation, Mr. Nelson Amaro.
Hey there, thank you for being here. It's great to feel the energy in the room and see all new faces that have never been here at the eBridge. This could be your home for your next business expansion or to start a new business that you may have in mind. So thank you for being here. This is the right place to be. This next participant, actually, I met him at our second RGV Startup Week, which is a whole week full of events, panels, and everything for entrepreneurs so they can actually fulfill that same purpose that I just mentioned, start or grow their business. Eduardo Casillas comes from Mexico, and he's a big Jacksonville Jaguars fan. So just a fun fact that we will be sharing with you so we don't actually spoil what they have to show you with their business ideas. So give it up for Eduardo Casillas and Connectivity Solutions.
Thank you, Nelson. Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming. I'm very happy to be here. I'm very honored. So my name is Eduardo Casillas. As Nelson just mentioned, I'm from Monterrey, Mexico. We have a company there called Connectivity Solutions. We are a managed services provider who specializes in SD-WAN and cybersecurity solutions for enterprise. And we also do LAN device monitoring for our customers in Mexico. And we recently joined a Starlink program in which we are authorized to integrate enterprise services from Starlink to our customers anywhere in the world. So we have been looking into the opportunity to expand into the US. So I joined the soft landing program here at eBridge, which has been an amazing help for us. And so what we are doing is we are adding value to the operations of our customers in Mexico, and we want to replicate that here. For example, regular broadband services for enterprise, even small business, is complex. It's sometimes unreliable. The customers usually don't have enough IT staff to have a very professional managed network, and it's just a pain for them. And it really takes attention away from what they really do add value on, which is their day-to-day business. So what's our solution? We can get rid of those initial high costs that these broadband services have, and we can bring Starlink with no wireline needed. But Starlink is not perfect. It suffers a little bit with the weather, and it has micro failures when it switches from one constellation to another, which then affects some of our customers' operations. So what we do is we add SD-WAN technologies, in which we are experts since 13 years ago, and we can add another wireless service bonded together. It doesn't mean that it only works when it fails. No, it's always working, and it always works together. And whenever you have a failure of either link, just the data packets stop flowing through that channel and they continue flowing through the rest of the channel. And we do this using very high-end technology on the SD-WAN universe, in the IP networking universe. So what do we also do? We add 24/7 monitoring. As I mentioned, some of these medium and small businesses don't have a big IT unit in their company, and they don't have a way to monitor 24/7 their networks, so we do it for them. We monitor their local network, and we monitor the health of the WAN services or the internet service. And with this technology, we can then connect every branch from a customer either to their physical data center or to their cloud services in either Google Cloud, AWS, Oracle, Azure, IBM, whatever, right? So we started the project, as I mentioned here, at the soft landing program at eBridge, and we are just opening the company. We are 2 months old in the US, and we actually just are installing our first service in the US right now in Dallas as we speak. So that's very exciting for me, to be honest. Our first or initial target is to focus on Latin companies that can see our customer portfolio and can trust it. So that's the easiest or the low-hanging fruit for us to start promoting our services, or even customers that we already have in Mexico that have operations here in the US. We are starting to offer our services to them. But really, and we're focused more on convenience stores, retail, gas stations, hospitality businesses. But really, we can, as we grow, we could offer and focus on other verticals and other industries across the US, right? So we really have a reliable team. We have a 13 years experience working with this 24/7 monitoring service. And we're just a very smart way of solving the connectivity solutions that our customers need and doing it fully as a service. So they don't have to invest in the technology. They just have to pay a monthly fee for this service. And just to give a little bit of credibility to what we have been done in the last years, here are some of those customers. As I mentioned, obviously they are more famous in the Mexican economy, right? But some of them do have operations in the US, and we also attend some of the retail or fast food companies that are from the US and are operating in Mexico. And so we're trying to replicate this added value with the market in the US, starting right here in Brownsville, Texas. And we have some business goals. We really already set up the company, which was a very important event for us. And we're looking to have our first 5 customers in the US. And by 2026 and 2027, we plan to grow the revenue to start reaching new industries, new markets, new customers, and not only get focused on the Latin-based companies, as I mentioned in the beginning. So we're really working hard at this moment in our project to have relationships with AT&T, with Verizon, T-Mobile, with Starlink, as I already mentioned, with even the fixed fiber operators. We're already working with AT&T, but we have some other strategical alliances that we need to solve so we can offer everything to the customer, not only the service, but also the bandwidth. And they only get one bill, and it should work much more easier for them. So I think that's the most important thing I wanted to share with you today, and I appreciate you being here. Thanks for your time.
We have 4 minutes for questions, judges. You may start in any order.
So my question is, have you researched your competition here in the U.S., and what are you going to do to differentiate from them?
Yes, so we have attended a few industry events in the last couple of weeks, actually, in the U.S., and we see there are some other companies doing similar stuff, but most of them focus on a failover scenario in which you have a fiber link, and if it fails, then you get a 3G or a satellite or a 4G or 5G link to then continue your operations and not working simultaneously. And in our humble point of view, we believe that the ISP or the internet industry in the US is really trying to exploit as much as they can the expensive internet broadband services that they sell. So they really focus on keeping these services alive. And a lot of the companies in that ecosystem are letting or not looking at this opportunity of doing things in a smarter way with some other solutions such as Starlink and 5G as a broadband service. So that's really the opportunity that we are looking at.
I guess I have to push it down. Okay. So my question is regarding redundancy. Is there because we live on the coast and there's, obviously always, the threat of natural disasters, hurricanes, that kind of thing. Cameron County manages the emergency response. So if internet goes down, then that means we'd have trouble talking to each other. So what does your company do regarding redundancy, and how fast can you bring it back up?
Thanks for your question. That's an amazing question. Our devices work with FirstNet as well. So we can add FirstNet for first responders and other government users. So we can tackle this market as well. It's just not our initial market. And if the customer also has a landline or a cabled or wired service, we can add that to our bundle without any extra cost. So they could connect their third-party services to our service as well, and we'll do the multiple simultaneous use of that internet as well.
Eduardo, congratulations on the presentation and also on growing the business in Dallas and that first project that you have there.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for the information. Now, in terms of market opportunity, maybe I'm too close to the mic. In terms of market opportunity, as you know, here in the region, especially in Cameron County, of course, with SpaceX and different companies wanting to land in here, what will be the opportunities for that market niche in terms of your service? Where obviously one of the differentiators that you mentioned is stability and reliability of the equipment, right? So what are the opportunities in the aerospace or space markets that you see, and how your company can grow into that kind of environment?
So in regards of the space industry, we consider ourselves a customer of the space industry because of the link that we have with SpaceX. So in the only way in which we could relate to space companies at the moment would be solving their issues, their connectivity needs in their offices, branches, or in their experimental facilities on Earth, right? Not really on space. And we just need to build a reputation because we can compete with other internet service providers here directly. But obviously they are well known and they have a brand name and they're recognized, and we're not. So right now, what we are working on very hard is on making our commercial plan, our marketing plan, so that we are well known on the business environment. And by getting a few medium and small customers, we can get the ball rolling and start getting some reputation in the U.S. as well. So that will be my answer.
We're out of time for questions. So thank you, Eduardo. Give it a big hand.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. How's everyone feeling after that first pitch? Are you all excited? It kind of gives you a little bit more energy to learn more about the pitches today. And if this is the first time that you see me, hi, my name is Astrid Rosales. I'm a new team member here at BCIC. This is actually my 4th day, so you'll kind of see me running around and learning. But we're excited to be here and support entrepreneurship to the best of our abilities. And so, as mentioned, this is my 4th day at BCIC, so if you see me, please say hello. I'd love to meet everyone here, and we're looking forward to our next participant. So just a really quick fun fact about me, if you don't know. Of course, born and raised here in the Valley. I haven't had much of the opportunity to travel yet, but our next participant has. So he actually had his post-op in Barcelona, right? Can I hear like a, ooh, Barcelona? You all need a little bit more energy. But yeah, so he had, there you go, somebody over here. They cut me off. They're like, enough. He had his post-op in Barcelona, and that's actually where his daughter was born. They stayed there another year, and so aside from being a family man, he's very creative, and so we're looking forward to learn a little bit more about him and his business today. But I'm really excited to have the opportunity to introduce Joseph Hollmann, and his business is SpaceMed. So if we have Mr. Hollmann available, then I'd love for you all to give him the warm warmest round of applause possible.
Howdy, y'all.
Howdy, y'all. My name is Joseph Hollmann. Let's see if this works. And I'm here to talk about my company, SpaceMed, and SpaceGuard, the final frontier medical device. So commercial spaceflight is exploding at a rapid rate. With the increase of space tourism, health standards for astronauts are going to drop, and we're going to start to see pathological events happen in space. Something bad's going to happen. We're going to need to work on, or we're going to need to treat that. Heck, one of our instructors wanted to fund cage matches in space, so something's going to happen. Our solution is to use light to remotely monitor health vitals like respiratory rate, heart rate, and oxygen levels. Again, this will be done in a non-contact manner, so we're not interfering with the astronauts in their day-to-day operations. We'll feed this data into an AI algorithm and sit there and detect these events as they come, these pathological events. The centralized device will minimize the need for wires, wearing devices, RF clutter, and so on. This device was originally developed for premature infants, the most fragile of humans, and now we want to move it into astronauts. We will use our experience in space, in designing for space, to design a robust, stable, that means it doesn't off-gas volatile component, stable and radiation-tolerant design. We will also use our expertise in the medtech industry to ensure accurate and safe diagnostics while maintaining data security. We will build the space-Earth pipeline by expanding our use to monitoring folks down here on Earth in infectious disease situations, COVID, ICUs, and other underserved areas. The space medical device market is growing by 11 to 14% per year. We expect a serviceable, obtainable market of about $1.1 billion in 5 years. We see three main market segments. We're going to focus on the low Earth orbit initially because of the expected volume of operations and time in space. We expect to have our prototype built within 6 months and then use it for parabolic flight testing within a year and get through space launch providers' qualification testing requirements within 18 months. Why do we expect this? Our current device is at TRL4. We have established relationships with clinics here on Earth, not in space. So we know what we're looking for. We know how to build these devices. And we will work aggressively to build our relationships with launch providers. Our goal is to aggressively push our device to market so that in phase 2 we can collaborate with our partners on spacecraft integration, start to work on the regulatory and medical data compliance framework. Phase 3 will see an expansion into terrestrial markets. We will also work to develop insurance partnerships for coverage-linked adoption. We will offer both hardware sales and software subscriptions, aiming for a gross margin of 60%, over 60% at the beginning. And then we plan to break even within 3 years of our first deployment. And the team, why do we think we can do this? My partner, Klaus Linder, received his PhD at the Institute of Photonic Sciences in Barcelona when I was his mentor, actually, during my postdoc there. He has over 10 years of experience in the medtech industry and has worked on regulatory compliance in Europe and the United States. He has been part of several startups. I have over 15 years of experience in the medtech, energy, defense, and space industries. I am the founding group leader of the Computational Sensors and Transducers group at Draper Labs. If you've done anything in space, you might recognize that name. And, of course, an active security clearance. And so, now the punchline is, what is our ask? We're looking for $750,000 and expect to begin space qualification of our tech within a year. There we go. Any questions? I hit the 6-minute mark. That was my goal.
Any questions from our judges?
4 minutes.
4 minutes.
I mean, are you planning to have your manufacturing or part of your business here in Brownsville?
Oh, absolutely. One of the things that I glossed over is I am a member of the Public Utility Board here, and I also am the president of the Southmost Water Regional Authority, so I'm heavily invested in the community here. I also build sets for the Camille Leitner Playhouse, so yeah.
Do you see this technology transferable to other, I guess, industries? For instance, military, and that kind of industry going that way?
Absolutely. Without focusing on military specifically, any underserved area where medical treatment is, sparse, including in the valley. This will be extremely beneficial because now you don't need to have the medical professional present. Adult elder care facilities is another good example.
So you can theoretically service the kind of like the lower income communities here?
Exactly,
okay.
all the underserved communities. I mean, and that would be a target. One of the benefits of the space to earth market is we are targeting space, but we also have plenty of earthbound applications for this technology.
I guess last question, right? So, Joseph, congratulations on a great company and, the experience that you all have. I want to touch a little bit on the technology itself. Could you tell us just a little bit more about the non-contact component, right? I just didn't quite get if it's a wearable or what kind of technology, do you have? And then the second part of that question is it regulated by FDA or any other entity? I think you mentioned some, compliance and regulations there that you've been researching on.
Oh, so
Thanks.
Great. Both of these are great questions. So first of all, it's very important to say, non-contact, this is not a wearable. So in its easiest form to picture is imagine a near-infrared light shining on your face. You can't see it. It's there. It's invisible. Doesn't affect you day to day. We will then measure how that light is reflected off your skin with a camera. Again, it won't touch you, it won't contact you, and we can figure out it's you that we're measuring signals from fairly easily. So this is how we're going to track you from place to place, see that it is you, that you are the person who is in distress. And so what happens is just like a pulse oximeter. I don't know if you've ever seen those in the hospital. It functions just like a pulse oximeter, but again, without contact. FDA is a very important question. So there are different types of devices that the FDA regulates because this one does not involve causing any harm to you. The big thing we have to do, or cutting you open or anything like that, is show that our diagnostics are appropriate for what you're about to do. So, basically, hey, we got to show that if we're predicting heart failure on you, that we know that it is heart failure and somebody doesn't cut you open and just see you were coughing. So, yeah.
Thank you so much. Can I ask a very, very quick question? Yeah. So in terms of prototyping, do you have some sort of prototype or what's the level of feasibility that you have for this device?
Yes, sir. We actually do have a prototype. It runs on my laptop. Technology readiness level 4 means we have a functioning prototype and we have some basic clinical data. Yeah.
Wonderful. Can we have a big round of applause, please?
Thank you, guys.
Okay, our next participant, you may have seen him. Oh, do we have the clicker? Okay, just advance one more slide. You may have seen this next participant here at eBridge because he is also collaborating with some other members of our incubator and the center. So it's great to see that power of collaboration, building new businesses. They're coming on stage. I really, really love to see those people coming in after 5 p.m. and collaborating with more members here at eBridge. So Christopher Rodriguez and his company, TerraSat Insights, he told me that his fun fact for this introduction was that he has seen 2 solar eclipses on Earth. I cannot remember if I've seen one, and this guy has already seen 2. That must be something super special. So give a big round of applause for Christopher Rodriguez.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Chris Rodriguez from TerraSat Insights, where we help predict pests and protect property. So let me introduce you to Maria. Maria, a South Texas rancher, represents the thousands of farmers and ranchers across the country. Every day she wakes up, goes outside to her ranch, supervises the operations, makes sure everything's running smoothly, the hay fields are watered properly, the cattle are doing well, things like that. All the normal things you expect a rancher or a farmer to do. But one day she wakes up, goes outside, ready to start her regular morning duties, and she sees this. Absolute chaos. Her farm fields have been torn through by a dozen or two feral hogs. Water sources are contaminated. Diseases are potentially present now. Thousands of dollars in damage in just one night. And the worst part is she feels just completely helpless. She feels like there was nothing she could have done to prevent this. And this is a situation that plays out across the country every single day. Billions, about $2.5 billion in annual damage from hogs nationwide, with Texas being the epicenter of it, given it has the highest density of feral hogs of any state in the country. It's a national threat with nearly every state affected. Water contamination and disease risk is an enduring factor with us, and current detection and mitigation strategies often fail. Most are reactive, not proactive. And there's no company out there currently trying to prevent these hog attacks. So why are we focusing on hogs? They're extremely intelligent, highly adaptive to a myriad of mitigation strategies, cost billions in damage, which is an order of magnitude higher than the next large agricultural pests like white-tailed deer or coyotes. It's about a 10 times order of magnitude. And like we've touched on before, it's a threat to public health and safety. They can spread disease, contaminate water, spread parasites, and in addition, they cause vehicular accidents on many rural roads. So while Maria is the one who bears the direct brunt of this cost, this affects everybody. How, you might ask? Input costs for farms go up when these situations happen, raising the price of food, clothing based on agricultural supplies. So you think inflation's bad, but a portion of that is what I like to call hogflation. So what can we do about this? And that's where TerraSat comes in with our terrain monitor solution. Terrain monitor uses satellite data and artificial intelligence to find the locations of these hogs, provide reports and alerts to farmers and ranchers so they can take proactive action against this threat. The two modules that we're currently developing are Track and Predict. Track is to find the locations of these hogs and update those at a more frequent cadence and to map those locations, while Predict aims to gather intelligence of the actual movement patterns of these hogs. We also want to work towards our Verify module, which uses ground-based direct-to-cell sensors, which will provide an even more higher reporting cadence for these hogs, and we believe also higher quality data that the farmers can use to be alerted to these attacks so they can sleep a little bit better at night. So we've touched on this a little bit, how it works. We acquire the satellite imagery for the area of interest. We run our machine learning and AI algorithms to try to identify movement and location patterns. And then we send this data and these insights to our subscribers so they can take action. Our core revenue model will be primarily subscription-based. We're looking at two subscription models right now, one direct to the farmer and the rancher so they can receive the reports and the alerts directly. And our second subscription model would be aimed towards state agencies, local governments who might want broader intelligence into the hog location, the number of hogs, and the movement patterns within their jurisdiction. And our aim for these subscriptions and the pricing, at least for the direct-to-consumer model, is a yearly subscription would cost less than what one night of moderate hog damage would do to their farm or ranch. Some additional revenue streams we're looking at are partnerships with hunting providers, such as either for sport hunting or mitigation hunting. We also want to connect our customers with services that provide other mitigation supplies, such as electric fences, things like that. And also we're looking at selling some data to insurance companies so they can track, so they can price their insurance premiums more accurately. Our team, we believe, has the expertise and the experience to execute on this. I myself lead the business unit. Julio Johnson, practicing electrical engineer, leads the satellite data processing and platform architecture efforts. Juan Zapata, certified in product management. He leads our software development. So a few current asks from this room. If you have any connections to farmers or ranchers, we would love to meet with them to further refine our solution. Same with state government. We want to meet with them, again, to refine our solution. And if we have any investors, we'd love to have those initial conversations with them. So you can scan our QR code and or email us directly at info@terrasatinsights.com. Thank you.
Four minutes for questions.
Does this technology specifically only hogs, or can you monitor other type of wildlife?
Currently, we're focusing on hogs. It can be extended to other types of wildlife, but that would require additional training on the data sets. Each damage signature of the damage they cause is different for different agricultural pests. Visual signatures, if we detect the hogs directly, which is possible. We just have to train our data on that. But for now, it is hogs. We want to extend it to other types of pests as well.
More than a question, I want to congratulate you how you started your pitch with the story and the images showing you connected with the emotion of, like, we need this. So just a very good pitch in that sense. Yes.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Christopher, congratulations on the presentation as well. Now, going a little bit on financials, what will be, you mentioned a subscription-based model, right, for some of the ranchers or farmers. What will be the cost of that subscription, right, and what will be the cost of operation for you? Just an estimate.
So the subscription we would base on both the area of land that we're covering in terms of monitoring as well as alert frequency. The cost would be the largest cost would probably be the acquisition of the satellite imagery from our partners like Plant Labs, services like that. We're looking at possibly about $3 to $7 per month per acre. That's our current estimate, with current costs maybe $1 or $2 per acre for satellite imagery acquisition costs. We're still doing some research on that, but that's our current estimate of costs and the subscription price we would charge for the direct-to-consumer model.
So those estimates are the cost for the user or the cost for the company to be able to acquire this?
The $1 to $2 per acre are our costs to acquire that satellite imagery data, and $3 to $7 per acre per month would be the price that the consumer pays.
We have 1 more minute if there's more questions. Good. Well, a big round of applause, Chris. Thank you.
All right. I too feel bad for Maria in the beginning of the presentation. I wanted to give her a hug and let her know that everything's going to be okay. But no, great job. I want to kind of get you all involved a little bit too and kind of ask you a quick question. Is there any football fans in here? Football season. Oh, I see some very passionate, some not so much. How about any Taylor Swift fans? Woo! Oh, there you go. That leads perfectly into the legway of the next participant that will be, telling you her story and her vision is Miss Julie Pedraza. She is a fan, and her business is AVA Analytics, and I did want to note that she is a die-hard Kansas City Chiefs fan, and I'm assuming also a Taylor Swift fan by the woo. But help me give her a very warm round of applause for the next section of the pitch for Ms. Julie Pedraza. And also a big round of applause to our DJ, because he has all the tunes for the walk-up songs and everything. Wonderful job. Thank you so much. Just a few more seconds. Oh. DJ, turn it up. In the beginning, I do want to say I was head bobbing. There. So thank you so much for the tunes.
Well, good evening, and thank you for joining. My name is Julie Pedraza. I am the founder of Ava Analytics and Consulting. And we begin my startup is basically with disaster detection, response, and relief optimization. So we all know that floods are becoming more frequent and more severe. And in my community, it's not just data, it's personal. Back in 2018, my family and I were rescued via boat from rising waters. This is one of our neighborhoods here in Brownsville. So at the time, I realized that there were no real-time maps that our emergency responders could use to get to our location because we were being underwater in our area. And I also realized that we're using space satellite data to track hurricanes, but we're not really having real-time data to track at the street level. So that's where Ava Analytics and Consulting, my early startup, comes into place. I use real-time space maps that can determine an area along with drones, sensor drones and other images, be able to detect if there's an area where the flood or the water is rising. And also be able to allow emergency teams. Right now, we know that they have limited visibility in some areas, and sometimes we do rely on social media, which can also be inaccurate in a time of a flood or a disaster. So that's where the solution that I came up with, as having a software development on my background, is the Ava Analytics Tracker. The way it'll work right now is that we're going to be getting space data from the satellites. And it'll be a broad real-time view of current environmental conditions, connecting what's happening in real time in our communities with from above. Then we're also going to have issue out some drones that can capture local data. Actually, in some of our emergency response systems, that's one of the goals, is to kind of deploy some of our work with the city, deploy some of the drones, and then start reporting back to those communities that are being affected as we're speaking or as this is happening. As some of us that have experienced floods, or we've been in a flood zone, or we're driving from work and we don't know what area, what street, what is being blocked, my solution, my technology will allow you all to determine that. And right now, my product roadmap, I launched in early 2025. So the team is going to first focus on delivering and developing an MVP flood alert system that integrates, as I mentioned, the Earth observation data with drones. Aside from that, we will be building on insights from space, using already images from NASA and using algorithms that are already modeling the data, and have it used at a user-friendly either web app or portal that cities, NGOs, early responders can use to track. Right now, as I mentioned, I want to start engaging with South Texas community, and as we start rolling out and start testing some of this drone technology and the images that we're capturing, and also it keeps a history of floods for future reference of disaster preparedness, and also infrastructure. It helps both ways, getting the city data, or the Earth data, I'm sorry, and also integrated with local infrastructure teams or local emergency systems. So this is what the traction and the development of my early startup is focused on. And also key metrics. As I said, right now the product is in development, the software, a proof of concept, and we're hoping to pilot with one flood-prone area. Even in our city here, I know I have a aerial view of my neighborhood of where most of the floods happen. And so that's kind of where we're starting. And now as we're tracking, because weather is always going to happen, it's always going to be a flood. And sometimes you don't know whether to evacuate. What do? Do you call fire department? In our case, a fire department was able to come and rescue via a boat the community residents that were in the area. As far as the go-to market strategy, it'll be a subscription-based. As I said, we want to pilot one city or one entity by the fall of 2026. Hopefully in 2028, maybe 10 regions, but that's the goal. And also develop other, like I said, the Gulf Coast, since we're in the Gulf Coast. And I know we're running out of time. Our financials are subscriptions, and our 1-2 year plan projection is through expanding with other national emergency partners. I am the founder. I have a software developer. I myself have software developer experience, front end, full stack, front end, back end. And then in this cohort, 2 of our leaders, world-renowned leaders here, and Ali and Mr. Robert Kratz, have kind of offered to keep communication with me, specifically with this project. And just real quick, the seed funding would be, I'm asking for some type of grant to start getting some of the data or some of the components, financial, for the software development, and start deploying this with some municipalities. And if anyone has any questions, I do have my contact information, avaanalytic.com. If you can visit there and leave your information, and I could get back and work with you all. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Judges, we have 3 minutes for questions.
So I have a question regarding the prototype, especially the drones, like in that bad weather. Do you have anything working right now?
Right now, we just have a prototype. We haven't tested it like in a weather situation. That's the next goal. Deploying it, our area there, that's the next goal, is to deploy it when there's actual weather right now. And I know we're getting it frequently in this season. So that's the next plan, is to deploy it, see how it handles the weather, the conditions, wind. It's always unpredictable, but that's the goal. Yes.
So you mentioned it was a subscription-based. Who would the customers be, and have you spoken to any potential customers and what is their interest in it?
The potential customers would be local emergency responders, maybe city municipalities. Those would be kind of the startups. The only thing, as being involved with flood, I've only been in contact with city, but only like on the infrastructure level. I'm hoping through BCIC, I could actually have those talks on the software level and mapping. So there's a connection there with the city of Brownsville on the advocacy side for flooding and making sure that infrastructure, because they've worked on infrastructure on our area, but we also, with Ava Analytics, provide a solution to the data that's coming in from mapping and images.
Julie, thank you so much for the presentation. Quick question on feasibility. We know that drones are limited in battery life, right? So that's been one of the things about the technology. So for the city of Brownsville, what is your estimate as far as how many drones you would need to effectively report, let's say, 1 or 2 days of flooding. And the prototype or the drone that you're using, what is the area of coverage that one drone can do?
Well, right now, I think the goal is to have at least 5 drones in each emergency center. I know, for example, near my area, there's the fire department. So you got to train that drone to be, once something hits, executed, and it just depends the area of the district. I don't have the square mileage of how much that drone. Right now, it's a small drone that we're working on, but the goal is to deploy from key locations where we know there's an emergency area, that this is a place where you're going to have rising waters, or this is another place, a remote area, a rural town in Brownsville or another local city. So that's the goal, is to deploy from those key sites out and then start collecting data. So in the beginning, right now, it's a small radius. The one that I had, there was an aerial, but it was just only my area of neighborhood. It was probably a 2-mile radius, just starting to test it out. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Can we have a big round of applause for Julie? Thank you for your time.
So the Space Accelerator is only one of multiple programs that we offer here at eBridge. One of them is actually from Terra Leadership Institute. It's a program that encourages young people from 18 to 26 years old with at least 1 semester of college experience to develop their entrepreneurial and leadership skills. So this next participant actually started his eBridge journey through that program and now has grown his startup into the company that he's about to present. And fun fact, he met his co-founder right here at eBridge. So give it a round of applause for Martin Cuevas from Rangers LLC.
Thank you. I wanted to start off by thanking everyone from the bottom of my heart. I am the CEO of Rangers. I am one of the co-founders of this business born right here at eBridge. While we were building our business, we realized that there was a sort of issue when it came to sort of growing and building up your company, and that was actually getting your name out there. The issue is all around us. It's something that stops businesses from reaching a sort of growth point. Businesses and organizations reach this sort of limit, and a lot of it is based off of name recognition and getting people to actually genuinely care about what you are trying to sell or promote or organize. We kind of figured that the only way we can really change that is by building a genuine story between you and the community around you. By building a one-on-one connection, by being those storytellers for you and your business, we can help promote your business and help it get on track with growing. Best part, it's worked. It's worked so far for a year, where we've been going out into the community, helping local organizations, local leaders, and business owners start really getting their first initial customers and getting those customers to come back, which is huge for us. Now, the opportunity we saw was that 99% of all businesses here in America are small businesses, and a lot of those small businesses have no marketing team. So by becoming their first initial marketing gurus, we can help support in helping them grow all across the nation. But we're not starting everywhere. We're starting right here in Brownsville. So by helping support those businesses here, we are seeing a sort of market value of around $5 to $10 million as more and more businesses like yours come into the valley. Now, as we started getting from this program, there's a lot of business coming in through space. The space program has become this sort of new gold rush for the community, and we just want to help support that and turn it into a shared prosperity point for everybody here. As more businesses get into space, they're going to need to start building a sort of one-on-one connection with the community so that people understand oh, space is cool, space is us. No, the reason it's been working so far is because we're building out this sort of playbook, this sort of roadmap for helping market your business. We've been building it out over the course of the year, and as we're building it out, we're feeding it into our AI engine. We're building out an app to sort of do this over and over again and spread it out all over the valley. Now, we charge around $500 entry to help promote small businesses, to help become their first real early on marketing team. And as we work alongside bigger businesses, we charge more for how many events you want to hold and how many events you want to sort of grow out into the community. So as we become your marketing team, as we become your community-based marketing group, we would like to do more throughout the valley and then throughout the rest of South Texas. And I would have used this opportunity to point out some of my business partners out on stage, but sadly, a lot of them are working in McAllen and Matamoros right now to find us more customers who need the help in growing up their business. So right now, the only one out here is Amit, the CEO of the Rangers. Now, we're building out the company. We need to sort of have this sort of seed funding. As we are getting more and more customers, we're starting to stretch ourselves out a little thin. We sort of need to have more and more community builders go out and host these events. And so by getting this initial funding, we are hoping to sort of go out into the rest of the Rio Grande Valley and build out ourselves out there. We've already started working in Matamoros, and so we're going to start using this as an opportunity to grow out over all of South Texas and North Mexico. My marketing director wanted me to share out our name and our contact information in case anyone wants any help in getting their business out there. So, by all means, connect with us.
Thank you. 5 minutes for questions.
So I am asking this from experience. I see a gap from all the STEM side, space side, to what the social, cultural, the people here in Brownsville.
Yeah.
How are you planning to close that gap? Because if you want,
So as we started working with businesses here in the Valley, we started to realize that space isn't just something that might be scary and new to people that live here. It's also something that is completely different. It is something that without sort of knowledge in it, you won't really know how to really step into that space. So by building education workshops and events based around space, we can help guide people along the path to get into the space industry and connect with people that are already in the local space industry.
I just wanted a quick question. So essentially, it's a marketing firm, right? Mm-hmm. And so there are other marketing firms in the area. What makes you stand out?
So a lot of those marketing firms work on using social media and all digital marketing to help promote businesses, and that's totally ideal. What we are trying to do is sort of create a returning customer base by doing one-on-one connection with all of those individuals that we connect through social media, through digital marketing. Hosting these events not only brings people in, it helps make a face for your company, making a genuine connection, making people want to come back to you. If you are, let's say, SpaceX, and you host a party, then the only people that they'll know are the people maybe hosting the event, maybe giving out food, but while we can be there telling the story of SpaceX, telling the story of how the business started and getting people to sort of connect one-on-one, building a good repertoire.
Thank you for the presentation, Martin. Quick
Yes,
question on the, so you stated a price per event, right? And then, of course, you cater to different, I guess, businesses, right? So how do you identify the right audience for your clients? Let's say if you were to have, you use the SpaceX example, or if somebody's on the technical side, STEM, or maybe on the, let's say, food industry, whatever the case is, how do you profile, the audience and the attendees for that event? And then what is your promise to your client? How do you measure the success of that service or that particular event? What's the return on their investment?
Perfect question. We have 3 ways to sort of organize community members that come in. We go based off of how many people are interested in not only this kind of event, but coming back to more events through Rangers as a series. As we promote multiple events, more and more people go out to every single event. So we start noticing that there's a pattern. The people that show up to everything get more involved in the community. And so we're trying to build up those community members that want to connect. And so we build up those individuals and then bring them out to events, and all of a sudden they become a champion for that company. Second thing we do is we work towards hosting those events weekly in a way that people go, oh, instead of going to a local bar downtown, I'm going to check out this event promoting this small business in hopes to try out something new. The desire for new experience is something else we're looking for. We're always trying to help promote new things. As we get into the space industry, this is completely new territory for us. And so just as it's exciting for us, it's exciting for community members.
That's time. Thank you so much, Martin.
Awesome. I think there's no doubt about it that small businesses are the backbone of the economy here on Earth and in Mars and in Pluto and anywhere right where there is life. So we're really excited to hear that representation, of course, here in eBridge being an incubator for small businesses. It's always exciting to see that. And also something I'm sure you all are excited about, FIFA coming up next year, right around June. Our next participant is really excited about that because he is a big fan of soccer. So we do we have our clicker available for the next slide? He's a big fan of soccer, and he did say that he's a VIP member of the Liverpool. No, I'm kidding. No, he's not. I know that would have been very cool. I got excited about that too. But if we could have our next participant, do we have a clicker for the name? Oh, okay, perfect. Yes. If we could have our next participant come up, Nick. We are ready for you so that we can introduce your business. Can we have a big round of applause right over here for Nick, if you can join us? And his business is Space Markets.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nick, and this is our company, Space Markets. So first, I want to say thanks to Ramiro, Nathan, and Samantha for organising the event. It's been a great event. Space Markets, what is it? It's basically an attempt to solve the problem that the space industry, until now, does not have any companies doing the financial part of the industry. So if you think about the industry, you probably can't think of a single company, apart from VCs, that are building financial products for the space industry. So we're trying to solve that problem. So the goal for what we're trying to do is basically build something similar in space to the CME in Chicago, or ICE in Atlanta, or the LME in London. So some type of financial marketplace where you can trade space commodities. So obviously when Starship goes live very soon, there's going to be many companies doing interesting things like space solar power and lunar resources and in-space manufacturing, and they're going to be classified as commodities. And I know that the world of commodity trading is interested in investing in those assets. So we're trying to build that marketplace. So here's the future roadmap of the space economy. And if you look at the end, you've got the $2 trillion in 2040. So basically that will require financial products. So if you look at, say, 200 years ago when the English East India Company went around the world to find new resources, the government would issue bonds and different types of futures contracts to finance those missions. So to get to Mars and the Moon and all these amazing places, you can't rely just on NASA and Space Force and VCs. You need to build financial products for that. So the idea with Space Markets is we'll build futures contracts, derivatives, swaps, a spot market, etc., where investors So people here or institutional investors, banks, can invest and be involved in the space economy. So this is like an image of the commodities history and the timeline. So you look back at ancient times, you've got people trading grain, livestock, barter, etc., going forward to the 20th century with things like derivatives, ETFs, and then now you have people trading carbon credits. That's a huge market. So people are trying to fund to clean up the environment using carbon credits. So in the future, we have the same thing with space commodities, and that's what we're trying to build. So our platform has different verticals to trade different assets. We're focusing at the beginning on satellite spectrum on the left. Why do we choose this market? Because it's the most important resource for most space companies. So it doesn't matter if you're doing Earth observation, space-based solar power, defense, whatever, you need to gain access to spectrum from the FCC. And it's a very, very scarce resource. And if you imagine in the future, in, say, 10 years, when there's 100,000 satellites in orbit, the spectrum resource will be extremely valuable. And therefore, if you're an investor and you invest in that financial product linked to spectrum, then you could say it's probably going to be a good investment. And then we have other assets on our marketplace. So imagery could be used for some of the guys who are pitching today as well. Lunar resources. So people think it's crazy, but mining on the moon is going to happen very soon, thanks to Starship. There's a company, for example, in Colorado called Magna Petra, and they're doing helium-free mining on the moon. And they've got a roadmap for the next 5 years with NASA to go and prospect and extract helium-free on the moon. So what we can do is build some product that allows you to trade that asset in the future. And then storage, compute. So you've got companies doing, I think there's one in Seattle called Star Cloud, building space data centers. I think it was just last week, Jeff Bezos from Amazon mentioned that they're going to put up, the plan is to put all data centers in space to try and help the environment. So obviously the environment, having all that data on Earth being processed is not good for the environment, stick it in space. And in space stations, obviously that's big with Starship. So you've got a lot of companies here now, Vast, Voyager, building private space stations. When the ISS gets decommissioned, we'll have private space stations, so people could trade maybe real estate on those space stations. So what are we trying to solve? So with the current space industry, there's no marketplace, there's no exchange like Coinbase or Robinhood or CME where you can come and trade these assets. So for example, there's no liquid marketplace, it's fragmented. So if you want to do deals with spectrum energy, you have to go to individual companies and do those trades. Inefficient allocation of resources, high cost barriers, etc. Many, many problems. And our solution is an exchange to try and make it more liquid. This is our trading platform. So we built this with Coinbase. So Coinbase is our main partner. It's already built on Base. So anyone who's interested in crypto will know Coinbase. They're our main partner for that. And then we've got office in UAE, where I'm based in Dubai. Some of our UAE partners. The business model, we're the trading layer in the middle. So basically you have the buyer and the seller, and then the trader in the middle, which is our role basically. And then you have the traction. So we have the trading platform built with Coinbase, which is Terra Level 5. So that's ready to go live. We've also built on the second one a satellite trading protocol called Storm that allows GEO and LEO satellites to trade excess capacity peer-to-peer. And that's the roadmap. So raising now $10 million. And then in the future, raising more money. And then the team, that's me on the left, background in blockchain, crypto, and space. The guy in the middle is commodities guy. And on the right, we have our CTO, who's a satellite communications expert, like 30 years with Viasat and Intelsat. So he's really an important guy. So yeah, that's it.
All right, we have 4 minutes for question, judges. Thank you, Nick.
Nick, thank you for the presentation. On the trading, right? So I would assume that a lot of this trading, once, of course, there's a technology to go to Mars and there's more activity, right? It's more feasible, space exploration, all that. There's potential, of course, growth in this. What would be I think there's going to be a lot of regulation on this, of course, right? Who will be the main clients for this type of trading? I would say governments, I would say industry, entities. How is that going to be regulated, and who will be your main client or your, pretty much your segment, market
so the main clients on our side are the three sides of the business model. So on the left, you have companies like, say, Viasat, who have excess spectrum. So at the moment, they're having problems in monetizing that. So we can help them monetize that more flexibly using our platform. On the other side, you've got all the companies that acquire spectrum. And they might be startups in Silicon Valley. They might require spectrum on a flexible basis. They can use our platform to have fractionalized and flexible and low-cost access to the asset. And the middle is probably where the big market is, which is tapping into finance. So these guys at the bottom, CME, ICE, DRW, Citadel, they're the guys that want to find a new commodity. So they could, for the first time, say, okay, we're going to trade spectrum as a commodity. So I think they're the customers.
And ideally, who would regulate this
So it depends on the asset. If it's spectrum, it's the FCC. If it's financial regulation, it's the Securities and Commodities Commission. So in DC, the financial regulators. We have a license actually in the UAE to do this. So we have a license in Abu Dhabi to trade digital securities. So if this would be classified as a security, then we're able to trade that.
So a lot of what the commodities you mentioned, it looks like it's all like electronic. Would there be any opportunity in the future to actually trade for actually physical product? You said you mined something from the moon. Can I eventually be able to buy moon elements or whatever?
Yeah, so good question. So one of our advisors owns a company in Colorado, Magna Petra. They're the one doing the helium-3 mining on the moon. And of course, the data will be the most important for the next 5-10 years. And I think that in terms of the actual physical product, of course, helium-3 is very valuable. It's used for fusion and quantum computing. And on Earth, it's extremely expensive. So the idea, of course, would be to bring that back and allow people to invest in that asset. But I think as well, a lot of those assets, like helium-3, will be used in space. They'll be used actually to build bases on the moon and on Mars. So probably that physical asset is more beneficial to be used in space.
Okay, that would conclude this session. Thank you so much, Nick. Can we have another round of applause for Nick, please?
Thank you.
Okay, this is the last one of today's, right? This is the last participant? Yes. So one of the great things about eBridge is that you can come pitch here, you can go through our programs, and the programs offered through our partners, but you can also come work in this area, in the open space. And I've seen Doug go into the conference room, teach a class, because he's one of those multi-talented entrepreneurs which will do multiple things. He will go teach a class, come out, network, meet some people, and then go back to teach the next class. So it's amazing to see things like this happening at eBridge. So our next participant, Douglas, the multi-talented Douglas Best, is going to be talking about his business, the Partnership Institute. A big round of applause for Doug.
Thank you. My name is Douglas Best, and I'm with the Partnership Institute. Our product that we are going to present today is called the TerraSat, and this stands for Targeted Engineering for Risk Reduction and Independence. A few years ago, the European Space Agency hired the first disabled astronaut. They created the first person who was considered a disabled astronaut, and they coined the phrase para-astronaut. Since that time, most of the development in this area has been on what can be done on outside the suit, exoskeletons. taking their disadvantaged state and trying to equalize it. What we are going to talk about today is redesigning the inside of the suit and creating a wearable that they can use when they don't need a suit that actually will create an advantage for this individual with chemistry and some other really interesting engineering perspectives. We are going to design to optimize the physically disabled in space. Now, what are some of our problems? Astronauts right now are faced with 20 to 25% muscle mass loss within 2 weeks, and they will have a strength decline by 30% in 5 to 11 days. Long duration, if they're out there for 6 months, they can lose up to 40% of their muscle mass. And so why is this happening? Well, they're not able to use their muscles, they're not contracting, and their circulation is not circulating as well, because when we walk, as we walk around, that's what forces the blood to return to our heart. They're not getting that activity, and it causes venous pooling, and it also causes lymphatic fluid to pool in the bottom tissues, and they basically get toxic levels in their lower extremities. Also, the idea of physically disabled astronauts, referred to as para-astronauts, we don't really like that. The medical people in our team didn't like it because para, in a medical term, means near or almost. So calling them near or almost astronauts was not good enough for us. We would like to refer to them as optimized. So what is the solution? We are building a modular smart suit lining for space missions, and it's going to use compression, electrical stimulation. Also, we'll be monitoring brainwave analysis. We'll also be analyzing exocrine fluids with smart fabrics. And there's a few other things that go on with this. But just imagine if you or I go to space and we're out there for 6 months, we come back, we have 60% muscle mass. If I take someone who's a paraplegic, a first responder where things didn't go well, and they go to space, and they have 60% muscle mass to start with, they could come back with 65% muscle mass by the way our system is designed and how it works. So, what is the technology? We start with cascading pneumatics. What we do is we use like a sleeve that goes over each extremity, and it can cover the toes, the ankle, the calf, the thigh. And it cascades the pressure through separate sections, 16 total different sections. It cascades it through different bladders and pushes the compression up, just like we do when we walk. And we do a really interesting thing because we do one leg at a time. As we compress one leg, then once it's compressed, we take that air and send it over to the other leg and compress up. Now that gave us two really cool solutions. One, it caused us to use 60 to 70% less electricity, and two, it helps to re-establish neuromuscular pathways because our system is wired to walk. When you have compression going at the same time, like you might see in a hospital, that's for hopping. We don't hop, we walk. And so that didn't work. Now, we took it a step further and we lined it with piezoelectric film, and piezoelectric film creates an electrical conduction that helps to create another cascade of electrical stimulation through the muscles. And then we also create an exocrine system where we analyze exocrine fluids and certain things. So we do the piezoelectric harvest and sensor exocrine chemistry. So I gotta move on because I got a little wordy there, but our spacesuit market, in space, if we get 2 to 5% of the people to become astronauts, we will have $60 to $200 million over a 5 to 10 year period, but the market on Earth is 50 to 150 million. So what we look at, our business model is build for space, but profit on Earth. Okay? And so we have our customers from space and Earth, revenue streams. I like the Earth market spinoff, smart clothes for smart people. Our competition is actually our customers because Axiom has the big contracts on spacesuits from NASA. Our traction, we're looking, we have a milestone from going from patent to building infrastructure, advanced testing and FDA approval for our traction. We have a fantastic team of specialists in electrical engineering, AI coding specialists, industrial maintenance, chemistry, and of course Dr. Deaton, who's really fantastic. And our ask is we're seeking $3 million in investments, partnerships with NASA, VA facilities, insurers, pilot programs with hospitals, manufacturing collaboration for scaling. Thank you.
We have 3 minutes for questions.
Yeah, I apologize for rushing there at the end, but.
What is the estimated cost of one of your suits?
That's tricky because the problem is when you're building prototypes, it's always going to be more expensive. And then obviously when we get to the manufacturing phase, that's when we're starting to bring costs down. Now the good thing is this isn't our first rodeo. We've been working on other medical devices that are in capstone and then virtual reality brainwave analysis devices that we've learned how to bring costs down. The cost of this suit, I think we could pull it in initially for maybe $10,000 for this liner. But I believe we can bring that down with mass production.
Is the only market for this the paraplegic population?
The technology will lend itself to other innovations. So when we're analyzing exocrine fluids with sensor fabric, we're creating data collection that AI is going to analyze specific to you as an individual and try to capture information that is going to tell us when you're going to get sick before you get sick. So that type of innovation within this suit can apply to everyone. The brainwave analysis, we already are building a system where we analyze the brainwaves and we determine your cognition. And if you don't understand it, then we change to vertical content or horizontal content, meaning we change the way we describe it or we make it less complicated. We can take that same mechanism and use it to analyze your emotions and be able to give you content to make you feel less anxious, and then be able to also adapt to it. And it would be specific to you. It's like Chinese medicine. It's customized for you specifically.
Do you know how many suits you would need to manufacture at full capacity per year?
That's a really hard question because is the suit just for space or is it also being used on Earth? We could literally be creating tens of thousands of these suits, and particularly for anyone that's compromised as a paraplegic or amputee, wheelchair bound, etc.
And the manufacturing will be done where?
Right here. I have an office in this building. And so our commitment is to be part of the economic development and be part of manufacturing within the community on all of our projects.
When you're ready to start manufacturing, come talk to me.
We're going to have a conversation later today.
A quick question on the feasibility.
Yes, sir.
So there's a reason of why wearables, there's a constraint, right? Because of different fabrics, is very costly to manufacture, and so the trend has been, measuring on your watch, or different types of sensors. What research have you done in terms of the feasibility of, doing this compression fabrics and testing versus having other type of devices? And I know that your goal is, in this case, for, to help, kind of like overcome the limitations, physical limitations, right, in space. But how feasible that's going to be versus maybe current technologies that measure these things?
That's a good question. One of the things that I've learned, particularly here at eBridge, is when I run into a wall, I pivot. And so we might be able to find what we need material-wise. It's out there. It may be too expensive, and if we find it's too expensive, we're going to do like we did with our other project that we licensed from NASA, and we're going to remanufacture it and make it our own. We took porous ceramic tubing that NASA charged or paid $50 to $100 a tube, and we converted it into terracotta, making it lighter and stronger at $4 a tube. So I have a lot of confidence in whatever roadblocks we have, that we will figure it out, and in the end, create more jobs for Brownsville.
Thank you. And last very quick question.
I'm so sorry about that.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for sitting through 7 entire presentations. It's a lot to do. Judges, I'm going to ask you to wrap up on your notes, and if you can follow Nelson, he's going to pop up here in a little bit. The judges are going to go to a deliberation room for the next 20 minutes or so. But in the meantime, please grab some food, grab some dessert. Oh, there's no more dessert, so grab some food and some drinks. And we'll be back here to find out who's the winner of our pitch event for the first ever Space Accelerator Launch Day. Thank you. One last thing I forgot to mention, everyone. The community vote. Please scan this QR code with your phone. Vote for your favorite pitch that happened this evening, and they'll get an extra award tonight. So thank you.
I've been on a spaceship counting stars since '94, waiting for someone to come and knock on my door. Looking for someone who'd be the Venus to my Mars. Why does love always have to be this hard? Got me feeling like I I've been on my spaceship counting stars since '94, waiting for someone to come and knock on my door. Looking for someone who'd be the Venus to my Mars. Why does love always have to be this hard? Got me feeling like for someone who can turn me on, and I met you. Now I'm down to earth, something clear next to you. All the problems disappear before you. In light years, I met you. I met you. In my spaceship, counting sheep to fall asleep. Dreaming about the day that someone would rescue me. I'm looking for someone who'd be the moon to my stars. Why does love always have to be this hard? It's got me feeling like for someone who can really turn me on, and I met you. Now I'm down to earth, something clear next to you. All the problems disappear for you. In light years, I met you. Been looking for someone who can really turn me on. Then I met you. Now I'm down to earth, something clear next to you. All the problems disappear before you. In light years, I met you.
All right, everybody, please take your seats. Take your seats. All right, everyone. Enormous round of applause to everyone who pitched tonight, please. It is not easy to come up here. It's not easy to be through a program for 8 weeks while also, holding a job or having personal responsibilities. First and foremost, can I get every single participant to come up here, please? Yeah, for your team. No, they're team. Awesome. All right, one more round of applause to all of these amazing folks. We knew we were missing one. It's always Martin. Sorry. All right, we're going to pose for one quick photo. Thank you all so much. If I can have you hang out right here on the side. So we did have a Community Choice Award. Show of hands, who voted in that? Awesome. All right. Well, we do have our Community Choice winner. So DJ, can I get a drum roll, please? One second. They're tallying up the votes right now. Yeah, very suspenseful. I agree. All right. And the winner is TerraSat Insights. Come on up. All right, congratulations on the Community Choice. All right, who's making a speech? Julio? All right, our second runner-up is Space Markets. You want to come up? Yeah, absolutely. All right, our first runner-up is Partnership Institute. Right. The best of show with all the presentations that we had tonight were, drum roll please, SpaceMed. Congratulations, Joseph. All right, thank you all so much. This is the first time we've ever done a cohort like this. We will be accepting applications this spring for the second version of this cohort, along with the Space Foundation again. Enormous thanks to our sponsors, Cameron County, the Greater Brownsville Incentives Corporation, our sister EDC, and enormous thanks to UTRGV's ECC. They volunteered all night, and they weren't even a part of this program, at least in the beginning. They were towards the end. So enormous thanks to everyone. Please enjoy, and we'll see you all for this again next year. Thanks.
you.